Okay, call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Irvin?
Here.
Bertel?
Here.
Peeler?
Here.
Cramblett? Here. Fitzgerald?
Here.
Herrick?
Here. Please stand for the prayer. Let us pray, O Lord, that we who serve your people in public office may have your blessing and guidance in our deliberations and decisions, so that what we accomplish here this evening will be just and beneficial to the people whom we serve. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike,
Yes.
I like to excuse that Mary's working.
A second.
Okay, Jack?
It's sinus, that's all this is.
I know.
And did you get his
Yeah.
motion?
I made a motion to excuse the mayor.
I seconded
Jody,
it.
then?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Second.
yes. And you, Jody, seconded.
Okay. Okay, roll call?
Okay. Bertel?
Yes.
Peeler?
Yes.
Cramblett?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Herrick?
Yes?
Irvin?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, I have a motion on the minutes. Everybody get a chance to look them over?
No.
Jack?
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the minutes from 3/10/20 and 4/28/20.
I hear a second.
I second.
Pat?
I second it.
Okay, roll call?
Peeler?
Yes.
Cramblett?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Herrick?
Yes?
Irvin?
With two modifications on the 28th. Under the call to order on the 28th, it has the wrong date there, so just modify that. This is call meeting order on 3/10, so just, swipe it out the right date there. No biggie.
Okay.
And then on page 3, bottom of the page, it says councilwoman made a motion, doesn't mention which councilwoman, so just, whichever one was there, just put everything in there, that's all.
Where do you see that?
Where's that?
Bottom of page 3, councilwoman made a motion. This is on the.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Yes.
Do we know what it was for?
That was, I think it was, might have been, you made the motion. I suggested to change the date of the meeting, and then somebody motioned to do it.
I think I
Second.
did
I think
it.
it was you.
I think it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I have it in my notes.
Okay.
So with that being modified, then, yes. There was a yes.
So,
and a no.
okay, all yes. All, yes, and there's 6 of you. Okay. Cramblett?
Yes.
Are we, Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Herrick?
Yeah.
Irvin?
Yes.
Bertel?
Yes.
Peeler?
Okay. Any petitions or communications? Report of officers, the mayor. I don't know if he had anything for me. I was babysitting today out of here. I had to babysit the kids down Martins Ferry area, so I was away, so I don't have anything for the mayor. So we'll just go to Bob.
Okay, one of the first things I probably want to take care of is, it's not on here, it might be on my list, but I'm not sure, talk about the pool. Let's just start with that, because I want to get Karen out of here. She will be our pool manager. She has concerns, like we all do, as far as when we want to open this pool. I really don't think we could possibly do it this weekend, that's for sure. I mean, you guys have a copy of all the restrictions. You see what we're going to be up against.
How many people do we have that you've received applications for? How many lifeguards?
No, lifeguard, I don't know if we have anything for no lifeguards at all right now.
The last I heard, there were no lifeguards that had applied yet.
Yeah, so I just figured we're not opening the pool. That's
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's probably the
the
reason.
only place that I know, like I said before, is Toronto.
And that was iffy too.
That they're iffy now.
Right.
They're really being iffy about it.
I talked to their manager yesterday and said that their recreation board was meeting tomorrow
Yeah.
to,
I think the scary thing about it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, what I'm worried about also, when we open that pool up and then somebody gets sick.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to us as a village? Are they going to be able to come back on us? I mean, we could tell them swim at your own risk or whatever else. I mean, you're talking about social distancing in the pool and everything like that. How difficult is that going to be? How difficult is that?
I mean, it's always going to be some kind of an issue, regardless of what you do. If it happens, it happens. But you don't want to let it happen. There's not a lot you can do to secure yourself from not being liable.
Ernie, what about Walmart and Kroger's?
They could have the same problem.
Yeah, I understand that, Jack. I mean,
They can afford it a little bit.
Yeah,
We can't too.
What I'm saying is,
You can't trace it back
you
where you
can't prove
contracted
it. You can't prove
the virus.
But
It's
you
like
may or may
where you
not.
got it from.
I mean, but that doesn't mean somebody isn't going to try to sue you. I mean, your insurance, your liability insurance should cover you without any problem. But, it's still a risk.
I think the big thing we need to decide on is how many extra workers will we need to make this happen, first off.
You'll need probably at least 3 or 4
A day.
if not more. yeah,
Correct?
a
I
day.
mean, you got to have somebody, how often do the bathrooms, I haven't had a
Every
chance to
2
look at
hours.
this. So the bathrooms will be neat and cleaned. And I'm assuming the board, the medium board, the rails are going to need to be wiped off on every time somebody goes off? The ladders?
I don't know about every time somebody goes off. If that's the case, then you don't even want to open your pool. I mean, seriously.
The
You don't
ladders?
even want to open your pool for that.
I mean, that's just,
What I'm suggesting is this, I mean,
do they have to do temperature checks?
I don't think that they have the temperature checks, they're just the
I think it
employees.
talks about
Just the
employees.
yeah.
I think that what we need to look at is if, that things are changing every day from the government. I would just say right now, we can't open the pool for the Memorial Day, but I think that you could revisit this if he relaxes his restrictions. I don't want to say, I'm not going to say anything. It's going to be up to you guys to say whether or not we close, but I think the option should be there. I went around with this with graduation in Indian Creek. I said, you can't set things in stone without waiting for, something to come down, because he was changing his restrictions every week. And look what now, I think we could actually have a graduation personally, but I was kind of outvoted a little bit on it. So that's something for you guys to think about, what you want to do.
You can put a cap on how many people we let in there at one time.
Yeah, well, we're doing it right now. We're going to have 10 people out there, and, like I said,
Well, too, the other problem we're going to have, we're the only ones open. Where do you think people are going to come to go swimming?
we're going to have issues. We will have to have a security guard up there or something. We will have issues, trust me.
Yeah.
How about
We
if
will
we
definitely have
did,
issues up there.
even if we opened it, could we make it just Mingo?
No,
No?
federal funds built that.
No, it's federal funds.
Well, that's true.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Only thing you can do possibly to deter things is maybe raise the rates for people that are outside our community, but trust me, if we're the only pool open, they'll pay. So,
Do they have to shower before entering the pool? Was
I don't know if
that?
they have to shower.
I was thinking that I heard that they would.
That might keep a lot of people away right there.
Only Jags. Only Jags.
I'd be cautious to even open the shower.
I think that we have to have a place where they can, you know, drive.
Install touchless sensors on faucets,
Yeah.
paper towels, and soap. Do we have those?
No, like I said, you're gonna put more some money into stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what I'm hoping, like, you know, he could come down and just eliminate stuff like that, you know?
They're making you sanitize every 2 hours. Why are they making you do touchless? I mean, if you have to be in there sanitizing, disinfecting,
Yeah.
washing things off,
Now,
it's like, you know, it's either one or the other, you would think.
we're not talking the splash pad, right? That is not opening. Is that correct?
Well, I don't have an opening at this point in time.
Okay.
That's another issue I have with those folks, because they're supposed to come fix that splash pad.
The areas of contact that are the concern, because you can't transmit through water, and the heat, when we get hot weather, is gonna kill it anyway, so you're looking at it outside.
I think it's a fallacy.
That's
an
fake
assumption
news,
that some
Jack,
people
Chaz.
made, but they're
Yeah, that was a
saying
Trump fallacy.
All of something, you can get it just standing next to a person.
Even though the chlorine will probably kill about anything, you can jack at it a little bit long as you don't burn people. They come out like a rock lobster, you know, they don't have anything.
Another of your big problems is you're gonna have a lot of kids. You're gonna be able to control kids. I mean, your social distancing, you might as well throw it out the window, because you
I'm
know.
gonna tell you
kids
what,
are not gonna-
if you get, I tell you what, we're gonna get a ton of people down there.
Oh, and you're gonna have to restrict it. They're gonna
Yeah.
have to count, we're gonna have to look at the square footage, you know. It's gonna be. it's
Well, you're only
gonna
gonna be, I think, you're only gonna be allowed to admit only so many
Well,
people.
that's what I'm saying, yeah. It will
Very,
definitely-
very little.
It will
I
be
mean,
very little if you want 6 feet. It'll be very little if you want 6 feet between people.
It says, if you go on the back of the first page under mandatory, bullet number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, develop and implement a reduced maximum capacity to allow 6 feet of distance between users. The formula for capacity should consider the area deck as well as available pool service. So you have to have the whole, there's a formula to.
You have to mark it all off.
And you have to see how much space there is
Square footage.
in square footage, and then it divided by, to allow you what the capacity is. Then when you get that capacity, you have to, there's another section in here that says you have to keep them within less than 10 people, and those have to be within the same family.
Yeah, they can sit next to each other if they're from the same family.
Right.
Under these current
I mean, how do you
restrictions,
know that? I mean, you know.
Right.
I don't know any pool that would open under these restrictions as they are.
I think that this is very tough.
What do we have to lose financially? Like, say all right, we're not gonna put in touchless, this and that, but say we proceed with prepping the pool.
Like
You know, and
maybe-
not announcing an opening date, but just proceed with, you know,
Trying to
2 weeks
figure
from now,
out.
these could be totally,
Gone.
like,
Yeah.
eliminated, you know what I
Well,
mean?
that's like
And then
I
we're,
said.
we're scrambling, or
You lose
it
money
could be
up
the
there.
opposite, you never
You're gonna
know.
lose money at the pool anyhow, because, you know, you
Yeah.
just lose money at the pool. But I mean, this stuff here, you're definitely gonna lose money.
There's no doubt.
Well, and if we can't open the concession stand, because that's where we made it a little
Well, I
bit of
think
our
that
money
you can open it,
back.
you just have to, they have to wear the mask, and we have to have a shield down over it, that's all. And I think that we
You
might
can
have
open
that.
it, says any food, under that same
It goes
section,
under
it
that.
should be, any food service
Food
must be
laws.
run in accordance with current orders
Yeah.
and guidelines for such establishments found in responsible restart Ohio for restaurants and bars. So I think we could open that, but you have to have markings on the floor on the outside
foot,
as to
yeah.
where
Where
they're
the
supposed
kids-
to stand.
Yeah, there's only gonna
There's-
be, what,
There's a lot
3
of
people
markings.
being able to stand there in
From what I
that
see,
space?
that a lot of
Line would have to
markings
go down
have
the
to
fence.
take place. You know, distance-wise, moving the tables apart, having people disinfect those tables when somebody
You know what?
gets up.
I don't think we could probably even have the tables out, because we can't have any furniture out.
Well, it's
Is
a,
there one that says we
you
can have
know,
football
arrange
out?
any seating areas, tables, chairs, et cetera,
I thought it said take them out.
indoors and out at safe distances from each other. If safe distances are not achievable or regular sanitizing of these areas is not possible, barricade or remove.
If you look at
Now, the
front page,
wooden
Front page
chairs,
says
I
take
don't
'em
think
out.
we would be able to sanitize
remove any
those.
casual seating other than benches by,
Yeah.
well, that's in the restroom,
In the
by
lockers.
lockers.
That's- yeah.
I'm sure it mentions it around the pool area probably too.
Well,
I mean, these are so
Either way.
restrictive, this isn't even worth
Yeah,
trying to
you're
deal
gonna
with
have
at
to
this
have,
point.
you're gonna have to comply as far as concession stand with any of the outdoor seating with the same things that restaurants comply with.
Right.
And you're also
Food
probably
establishment,
gonna have
yeah.
some regulations, you know, health department regulations within the concession stand for your workers that you probably have never had before. You
Oh,
know,
I'm sure they'll have to
with the-
wear masks
they'll
and
have to wear
gloves
masks and
and,
probably gloves.
yeah.
They've always worn gloves, that won't be the deal. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's just gonna be much more restricted.
And can we get the gloves? Can we get the cleaning products? Because I've been looking for the disinfectant flooring that I used last year. It just now came in stock at Sam's. I said something to Kim about we should get some of this, but she wanted to wait till you guys, decided anything because we can't find rubber gloves, right now. I mean, that's,
I actually got something I sent to her, one of the sanitizing products. I sent it to me over the internet.
It'll be a mess.
So
We're gonna have
we might
gloves
have-
all over the
might have-
place.
And I actually sent it to her.
Masks are gonna be
I just
thrown
said,
everywhere.
Hey, keep this, keep this close in case we do open the pool. Now, that was a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, who knows?
right.
Who knows?
I had somebody ask me if the playgrounds are open yet, and I'm like, I have a meeting tomorrow, I'll know more then.
Really, the playground, really or not?
No, we don't have the personnel to go sanitize them
No.
7-8 times a day.
Well, I think we need to make a decision here, what you guys want to do, revisit it, give some time frame here or whatever else to think about.
I don't think there's any way we can open the pool up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I just don't see it happening. I'm hoping that
I
maybe
think we
by
could, we
July
don't have any
4th.
restrictions.
Yeah.
If we didn't have this, I think we
Well,
could.
that's what I'm
but-
saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying you have to probably say something about these restrictions, saying, if these restrictions are lifted or at least modified to a point
Where we
where we
can,
feel,
I'm sure the
it's not
governor's
gonna
gonna be
be
taking a lot of heat
financially-
from communities all over Ohio about this. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is-
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm sure
very
you're gonna hear about it, but
stringent.
like I said, just like with the education, there was a lot of heat put on those folks out in Columbus, and they started bending.
They started to fold a little bit,
Yeah.
yep.
So I just, like I said, I'm not gonna make the recommendation, you guys make the recommendation, what you wanna do with the pool.
when's our next meeting, is it?
Well, it's good.
Whatever
We
day-
only have
whatever day
one-
in June we decide.
one
Because we
in-
didn't-
Well, I tell you,
I think we did the, what, the
You guys
third
can look
week?
at this too, because the mayor works terms, of course. His dates that he can be here, 9 June, 21 July, and 18 August. So we could actually have a meeting on 9 June, which would be pretty quick.
That would be the one for June then?
That'd be a quick one, but then 21 July would be a long one. You know what I mean? From 9
3
June to
weeks
21
from now, a
July.
lot might change by then.
Well, that's when I'm,
Well, maybe if we meet on June 9th, we can make
We
preparations to
can meet on
hopefully
June
open
9th and
it
then-
by the 4th of July.
Do like
Worst case scenario.
Mid-July.
But if you wait till mid-July, everybody, all the
yeah,
lifeguards
let's put it
leave
this
in
way. If
August,
we don't do
so.
something probably on 9 June.
If we don't do anything on 9 June, we're not doing anything.
I got a feeling.
It-
it's gonna
The
be-
summer's gonna be eroded away by that point.
Because, like you said, come on. Well, you might not lose your lifeguard because schools might not open.
This is true. So, I
Is that
mean,
gonna be,
The other thing.
is that gonna be our meeting for June then, June 9th? Is that what everybody wants?
You get some applications.
If that's our only meeting in June,
Nobody else is up
we
for
set
that.
ourselves up for a huge.
yeah, I think we
Well,
can't
that's why I
wait till the
said July, we're
23rd
gonna
of
have to go
July.
earlier in July than the 21st.
If this throws off our
It's good
entire
for us in
schedule,
June.
which we made it the first part of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with 9 June is fine, just because we need to meet quickly here, pretty
Well,
to discuss
let's
this.
set it now. We go on the 9th of June?
I think that's good.
Your regular meeting would be the 16th.
What are you talking about?
Because we
Because we
agreed to
went
do
to-
it on the third week.
Oh, third week.
When we moved this, we did-
So we're gonna move that to the 9th?
I think you should go 9th and 23rd. Because you don't have a huge gap between the next.
Well, we only got one meeting.
We only got one meeting,
Only
James.
got me
Is
and,
that ash and stone?
huh?
Is that ash and stone?
I wouldn't think you need another, I think 9 June, we ought to have a pretty good idea if we're gonna open the pool, if that's what you're trying to think about.
Yeah, or you could, at the
You go to the
9th,
23rd of June, I think that
That's too far.
I think you're gone.
Yeah.
And it was
But then
originally
it would
gonna be
take
the
us A little
16th.
time to open, it. You're talking the 1st of July, 4th of July to open, then, okay, you got a month. Really,
Not worth it.
especially if the kids do go
June
back to
the 9th?
school. August was just shot, a
Right.
lot of times, so.
We'll
And
just say June 9, then we'll set the next meeting after that, at that date. I
Yeah,
guess.
you guys need to,
I
think you have to meet
it's just
again.
kind of a-
All right, we're gonna meet on the 9th of June.
What time?
Unless we know something
6:30
new
good
happens,
still?
we're just
Thank-
wasting our time being on the 9th, I think.
6:30 a
That's my
good time for
personal thought. Unless
everybody?
something changes, we,
Wait,
I mean, the 9th is
Yes,
pointless.
you want 6:30 on the 9th of June?
did you hear what George just
Works
said?
for me.
I don't think anybody heard what you said. Repeat, please.
Well, my thoughts are just that, if nothing changes by the 9th, then having a meeting on the 9th and moving up, changing our entire schedule, does no benefit. So.
Something's definitely gonna change by the
So my
9th.
thought would be.
It's either gonna get way worse, or it's gonna get a lot or better. I mean, right
Well,
now,
if he lifts-
Ohio open
If he
now.
lifts restrictions in 1 week, we could schedule a emergency meeting, get something done, and make some sort of motion to proceed. I think we keep on, if we shift the next meeting, we gotta shift another meeting, we gotta shift 3-4 meetings.
Yeah, the July
And
meeting all the way at
I mean,
the end
If
is too much.
something happens to
Is it
change.
too difficult for someone to put an X on their calendar?
Something
I mean-
should change, we don't know things don't change for certain though. That's just my thought.
Recreation.
If you guys wanna do the 9th, we'll
Moving
do the
meetings are
9th,
pretty
but
crazy.
I don't think.
Recommendation.
In other words, you'd rather keep it where we were, the what?
And we could schedule an emergency meeting if we
Those
have
rules
some
change.
changes, some modifications.
Why don't you consider having, sometime early June, having a recreation committee meeting?
That's what we're gonna do.
And
yeah.
let the recreation committee meeting present a recommendation. And if the recommendation is open, you can come back and have a special meeting. But I kind of agree with George in keeping
The 16th.
the 16th, although I guess that presents a problem for
Well, the
Ed.
mayor can't be there. I mean, I think you need to schedule around the mayor a little bit too, with his schedule. You know, so,
And the 21st of July would be your regular July meeting.
well, you know, we could just say, well, when is 9 July? 3 weeks from now, pretty much?
June.
Or
June?
June. Well, I could have a meeting with the rec committee here in the next week or so. Hopefully, maybe something, or even a week and a half. And if things change a little bit, we could then maybe have the meeting on 9 July, on 9 June. Jack, you're gonna be okay after a couple of days just to talk to us, right?
Okay, fine. Everything's clear as mud.
I don't
So-
care, whatever you guys wanna do.
When you want to meet?
Well, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I'm just trying to throw some things out there to see if,
No, I'm talking about recreation, when you want to meet.
The
I would
first
do it-
week
I would
in
give it a
June?
couple week and a half or so to see if anything changes. That's
So let's-
what I'm hoping for.
So like
Because I tell you
the,
what, I'm sure that there's things being said in Columbus right now as far as him putting these type of restrictions on these pools.
so the first week in June for recreation?
Possibly, yeah. What is the first week?
It's the 1st through Friday's the 5th. The 1st is Monday. I'm available any day that week. The week before, we're going to go down and get my granddaughter, and she's coming up. So I would
Well,
rather
I
it
think the
not
first
be
week in
that.
June would be okay. And then we gotta make sure if we are gonna call a meeting, we can call a special meeting, make sure we get it in the paper and all that stuff.
So the one in the first week is gonna be a rec
It's
meeting.
a rec meeting, yeah.
With council as a whole?
No.
Just the
recreation.
All right.
Just recreation.
So could we schedule that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a look.
Action,
Jack, you take a look at it.
take a look at it, see what date we're gonna have a recreation meeting the first
Week in June.
week of June.
All right. I'll call, can I call?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. I mean, it depends how you're feeling too, so. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I ain't worried about it. Like
You
tonight,
can call us up and set the meeting.
this meeting wasn't even in the paper tonight, this meeting here.
Doesn't have to be, this is a regular.
I know so, but he was here last time, the meeting, but he never put it in the paper.
Well, your only obligation is to notify. You
I think
can't
we'd have to
control
money out of it, 3 hours tour.
All right then, Jack, you'll let us know the first week, okay, for a rec meeting.
Yep.
Now, when's our regular meeting gonna be? 23rd, or don't we know yet?
I guess you're gonna go with what you had before, which was
The
whatever.
16th?
No, it
Or
was
the
the
9th.
19th. It was the 16th.
16th is your regularly
That's
scheduled.
when Spud can't be here, but, that's what you gotta schedule as.
16th then, is our regular meeting?
As it currently stands.
Huh?
As it currently stands.
You can always call a special meeting or move
If
it
something
you feel it's
changes or-
necessary.
Yeah. All right, that's a regular meeting then.
So are we doing that at 7 o'clock? Are we changing the time to 6:30? What do we?
6:30.
I like it earlier.
Yeah,
6:30.
Actually, it's 6, honestly, but that's, I know some of you have a hard time either, but, yeah, 6:30.
6:30 for
I
what
can't
point?
stand it 7.
For the 16th.
For the 16th.
Yeah, 6:30.
I make me miss the voice and stuff.
Okay.
Wait, we should have that maybe in should be some form of motion at least?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I make a motion that our next council meeting scheduled on June the 16th happen at 6:30 PM.
Got a second on that?
I second it.
Okay, Pat did. Roll call?
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Herrick.
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
Rattell.
Yes.
Peeler.
Yes.
Cramblett.
Yes.
Okay.
So July and August,
I
we don't
think
know
you're
yet?
free if you want to go.
Well, July,
I don't
August,
want to keep you any longer
we
than
still
we
have
have
the
to.
first couple years,
Now,
it's
let me
the
ask you-
third Tuesday.
Let me ask you a question. Your daughter still?
Should be the
interested
16th.
in like gardening and stuff like that?
I'm not sure about the lifeguarding, so,
Okay.
she was gonna, she would do the desk. We
Okay.
have a couple people for the desk.
21st week.
So what do we really need? We probably need workers that will probably sanitize. And we probably need workers to go in the,
Oh, that would be
food.
for,
So
next
we
council
would
meeting,
do-
which is
We were doing 3 or
June
4.
16th.
We did 2, 1 adult and 2 students in the concession stand. So if we added a third one to come in on a shift to sanitize,
I'll tell you what,
we could do that.
send me an email with what you think Manning should be, so I'll have an idea.
I mean, we're gonna need close-off stuff because we'll have to close the men's room, clear the men's room, clear the women's room, just
Yeah.
to go and
Sanitize.
sanitize. And then that means no pool parties, right?
No
Or
pool parties,
yes.
and people can't go in and out. I mean, if
Right.
they leave, I think they just
And
gotta
then
leave.
the entrance will need to be adjusted, the senior time will need to be adjusted. There needs to be a plastic thing, shield at the front desk, but not completely closed off in order to allow
So you
Some
can
air.
put up so high and
because
cut a
it's
hole
so
in the
hot.
bottom. You can put up so high and cut a hole, like something down at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, They can put a slot.
You want to be able to have air getting
Oh, you're
in
using this
the seating area, because
Very
that's.
no sense.
Just send me, you got my email, just send me something. At least I know we'll have to get prepared for if we do go to open the pool.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
all very much.
Thank you for keeping it. Because it'll be very interesting if we open, you'll have an interesting year up there, trust me.
Bob, do you want me, the lady who got a hold of me that said her daughter has life cert, do you want me to get a hold of her tonight and tell her to send her resume in, or
She can, I mean, she could, she
Yeah.
can,
send it here to the city building?
yeah, and I
Yeah.
can get it to you.
Yeah, we can contact, Kim's the one that takes the applications. you
Okay.
know. But she didn't want to put anything out publicly until we knew if we were
Yep.
doing it. or
Yeah.
not.
That's
The
why.
other, the other thing you may have to keep in mind is the cost of passes. And whether you want to
Yeah.
make an adjustment as far as, if you're not open for the whole year.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have to adjust them now.
Well, and not only that, but, that too, if you're only allowing so many people in, and you come in and have a pass, and you come in and pay, and that, you come after she does, and it's full, but you want that pass that you can come in anytime at all, how do I deny you
Yeah.
with that pass?
That puts you in a
non-access?
precarious
I
position.
told you it's gonna be interesting.
Right, that, and then, another thing to consider if we are opening is, the adjustment on the ages of the students. I mean, right now, ages 3 to 11, they pay $2, and ages 12 to 17 pays $3, which is fine, I'm not upset about that, that's fine. But the thing we run into a problem with is that a 14-year-old and 2 5-year-olds come in, and that 14-year-old's watching those 2 5-year-olds too. But I think really, if you're a child, if you're paying child prices, you should have one adult with you. And a 14-year-old's not an adult. And we ran into problems for a number of years now where, we say no, where adult will come in and say, here's a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, a 5 and a 3-year-old, I'm paying for them and they're going in. Well, just because they're with a 13-year-old, they think that's okay to send little ones. So maybe there needs to be an adjustment that if you're paying the child price, then you need to have an adult with you. Even if that adult's not swimming, we won't charge the adult if you're not swimming, but you need to have an adult with you if you're paying the child price.
I think you definitely have to have regulations that say anybody under a certain age has to be accompanied by an adult.
Supervision.
You can't just drop
Especially if
Well,
because we're a
free daycare.
babysitting
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
We're a babysitting service and,
Regardless of all
Right.
this,
right,
that's still you.
Yeah.
right.
And the thing is with the passes, I mean, if you wanna buy a pass, it's basically almost buying a pass at your own risk too, or you just don't sell any passes. Because you know, there's just no way we can really restrict somebody from coming in. So I would just say there's probably gonna be no passes, or if you, like I said, if you wanna buy that pass, it's on a stipulation that, hey, if the count's against you, then you're not coming in.
There's nothing we
I
can
would
do.
rather just not sell passes if it gets to that point, because I don't want you to have to argue with these people, hey, I bought a pass.
Have we sold passes yet?
I don't think we've sold any passes as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't think we should.
Yeah, I just think that, you know, you're gonna really have a hard time with people that have passes.
Right.
I mean, this will cut down on these people with one pass and 32 kids too. you
Right.
know. So,
Right, and that, yeah. If
That's
you're not
always an
doing
issue,
passes,
too.
we'll have that discussion too,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's,
we're always gonna have issues up there, you know, we just try to minimize them as much as we can and not have, you know, fist fights and stuff.
yeah. I mean, if you reduced it to 17 and under was $2 and adults are $3, you know, every time they come in to pay, that would be, and senior citizens are $2. I mean, you think you could still make money and you wouldn't gouge them that, because families, when they come, you know, two adults, if they come with a kid, you know, you're talking, you know, $12 a time. And if you come 10 or 12 times, you have your $150 that was for a family.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we reduce that down to maybe $3 per adult, $2, 17 and under, and senior citizens, $2, you know, they'll eventually get to that 150, but, you know, maybe or maybe not, I don't know. I mean, that's your decision, thoughts there. It's, but I just don't know how I can tell someone that bought a pass,
I know.
you can't come in because we're at capacity.
We're at capacity.
And,
That's why I don't think we should sell any passes this year.
I don't think we
It's
should
not a
either.
jump the line either.
Huh?
That shouldn't be a jump the line, it's going to be bought the pass.
right.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
You're already at the number, you're going off.
That's it,
Yeah.
Should've
And you have to
gotten
figure
one
out the
earlier.
number too.
yeah.
What is our total capacity? It goes by lifeguard, right?
Well,
Depending
by
on how many
square footage
lifeguards
now.
you have?
It goes by total square
Well-
footage.
I did see one formula that, just for the pool part of it. And it was one, for the area that's 5 feet or under, I want to say you have to have 15 square feet per person. And for the larger, and I think for the deeper areas, it's like 20 feet per person.
Well, heck,
20 square feet.
you only be able to have 4 people in
No,
there.
yeah, that sounds
That's,
big.
I saw that, and now that's not from the state.
Yeah, that's
And then you're looking at
That's 3
probably
by
at
5.
best half of that.
3 by 5 for every
But
person.
But you're talking about 6 feet. That's 36 square feet.
Yeah, well, I mean, now it's probably something like that, I would think.
But with this, it's the decking,
It's
the
the whole
whole
area.
area, everything is included in. But if your pool is smaller than your deck area, then it's cutting even smaller. But our decking is
Smaller than the pool.
smaller than the pool. So, you
Yeah.
know, we would be able to handle that. And then as far as what I could, our like amusement, you know, slide parks are not open, but splash areas are.
Yeah,
So when we open, if the splash pad's up and running, we can do that because in reading this, it's not considered a water park. It's a splash area or a water area, or I forget how it's worded in here. And so that would be okay for our splash pad aside from possibly the frog. We might have to shut the frog off unless the chemicals are working that disinfect that. But still, when they're climbing up the slide, I mean, and that gets sketchy too, because like when you're going into the water, okay, so if you get any germs going on, you're gonna get into the water and the chlorine, that's gonna take care of it. When you're coming out, your hands are wet, that might add a little chlorine to the handles there too. You know, so, I mean, you could argue both ways that we could do that and the same with this, but I don't know if the splash pad, if that'll have that chlorine working this year or not. If
it's
it
supposed
doesn't,
to
we
be
can
running
put
as
it.
it's normally supposed to run when this guy gets done.
But
That's
is
my
it done?
understanding.
But is that treated water or is
Yeah,
it just
should be-
regular
it should be
water?
treated.
It
They
goes-
took it
yeah.
off.
Yeah,
They took it off. The thing is I've called him 3 times, I've got no answer. We've already kind of paid for them to come down here and fix that. So, That's one of my issues I gotta take care of.
I have his card too up in
I
the desk.
got his name and number.
And I think the splice pad's something you're gonna have to monitor really closely because of the 6 feet.
And the little kids.
Little kids
Right.
don't.
It needs monitored on like a regular basis, you know, even
Right.
and on a normal year, because when it's break time, all the old kids come running over in there and they're knocking over like the little,
And that's when the lifeguards are on their break.
Right,
Out of
yeah,
the sun, so there's nobody over there, it's a,
yeah,
you know, a
Pandemonium.
parent thing.
free for all over there, yeah.
Yeah.
One way to get around that is if you have 5 things inside that splash pad, you only have 5 kids there, 1 kid per thing. And when a kid comes out, another kid goes in. You'll keep that distancing right now. If somebody's standing there, okay, this kid's going. you
That's
can
just
go.
another person we're gonna need though, that's it.
But how do you tell a 2 or 3-year-old, no, you can't get on the frog, somebody else, you know, you're gonna have a hard time policing that?
That's just for this year.
You know, I mean, we had a hard time, I couldn't get anybody to clean the locker rooms last year. Nobody wanted to do that. I had one girl that would come in and do that. So I was doing the locker rooms every night. I was there every morning, every single day last year. I don't know. I was there every morning for senior swim, except for one day I had surgery. The next day I was supposed to be off, and I still went down. And so I was there every day for that. I was there for every pool party, closing it up. I could not get kids to come in and clean that. So, you know, I was doing the cleaning. I had one girl that would come every so often and she would help clean it. So we have a hard time hiring kids that want to do this stuff on a regular year, let alone a COVID year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something to try to even get these kids to work. Nobody wants to work.
That's very, you know, we can't get kids to work. We used to have, before, Jack can tell you, you know, people working in that, you know, down there at the park, you'd have 10 kids sign up to work at that park and whatever else. You're lucky if you get 2 to sign up and maybe 1 will show up. So, I mean, you know, we have to take that all into consideration as far as opening this pool back up and now the additional duties that these folks have to do.
Yeah.
So just keep that all in mind.
You may have to look at, money-wise, if we're only open half the year, and we had the money allotted to pay for a full year, to maybe.
Increase salaries or whatever else.
So that they'll stick around, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get more applications.
It's a lose-lose. I mean, the time you do that, I mean, with all these restrictions, it's increasing our costs of doing business, and then we're gonna have to reduce our prices for a shortened season. It's just a bad formula. It doesn't make sense with these current
Well,
restrictions.
if you don't sell passes, you won't have to reduce your prices, you just have the regular price to come in the pool. But if they don't do anything with this, I think it's you're dead, you're dead in the water, sorry to pun.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thanks.
Bye, Karen.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob, you're up.
Okay, well, you guys, I guess we could get the garden thing done a little later then, I guess, because we're talking about, he put in to extend his leave without pay. In the contract, he may have that granted, I put it on you folks, if you want to grant him that additional 6 months. So that's something you guys are going to probably have to look at and vote on here or whatever else, right? Do I have to make a motion to vote on that?
Well, you'll have to vote on it to extend it for the 6 months.
Yeah. So, let me get my stuff done and you guys can talk about it.
I figured, I thought we'd go into executive session. No,
Once he run out.
he ran out on the
He's already done
15th.
with his family medical leave. So this would basically start, I guess, when you would grant it now, you know, or it could start, I don't know, I don't know, you know, I don't know exactly when it would start. Well, it'd probably have to start when you guys vote on it right here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the time, you know, the clock would start ticking.
You granted him an extension through the 20th, right? And
I
we were
granted
gonna
extension,
vote on
so I
it.
just gave a
We were
formal
gonna
statement.
vote on it on the
I said
19th,
you
which
bring it
is
to the
tonight.
council and, you know, they can decide what they want to do as far as it's, you know, leave without pay and it's 6 months and he can come back and get his position back and whatever. You want to go through that now or you want me to just go through my stuff and you guys can talk about it? Maybe you don't want to go into executive session.
I think we
don't
should
know.
go in executive session
That's up to you folks.
to discuss
You
personnel.
want me to you want me to do my report then?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, continue the hot patch. Okay, we are.
Isn't he out there?
We took some, around Eleanor, we really took care of those. Those are pretty nice now. We actually put the concrete jack, you know, we put the concrete down and blacktopped over it. Glad you suggested that, you know. Appreciate it, buddy.
No problem.
We did have the pre-construction. I think that these folks will probably be on site here in the next couple weeks, starting the starting that project. Park managers, well, we just talked to Karen. We only had 2 folks actually sign up, but she is still interested. And by the way, she does a very, very good job. You know, she's pretty strict up there. The shoreline will commence. I'm pretty sure we can put that on our date, on our calendar, when we get the ramp closed. And I guess if you cry hard enough, and after many pleas, they decide they're going to do it now.
Good.
So that was a $500,000 savings to the village, because that guy was so nice. After I talked to him, he took everything north of our houses. Really, that was our property going up there. Continue to try to replace those risers after that great job that Les did paving. Cleaning pool, okay, ready open. Like I said, we've already talked about that for about half an hour, 45 minutes. It's going to be your decision. Back wall of the sludge barn, I had them folks come take a look at it. We got an estimate. The estimate was a little high. I informed Wayne Ruckman, who got the estimate, to tell the individual that he has to reduce that scope. We don't need a whole new roof or anything like that. So we're still working on that. The village remains in lockdown. I think that'll probably be, I've got a feeling that's when we open it up here pretty soon. I got a feeling.
We got to figure out how to get us all keys.
I don't know if council gets all keys. I don't know,
We have never, ever.
Yeah, I don't think council gets keys. I really don't.
I've always had a key.
I had
You've
one.
always had a key?
I've always
Go
had one.
Yeah. Well, to the back door. Not all, but like to that door's like.
So you 2 had keys?
I had a key to the,
I had a key.
mine was the side
When
door.
I first got elected for my first term, they handed us one, they gave us one,
Really?
and that was,
Yeah, Em and I think we're.
I
I
never-
never gave out keys to anybody. Of course, these are do not duplicate keys, fine. Okay, these are good keys. You know, it's, I don't know, well, I don't know what, I don't know what to get them all out. I think to put the keys out, I hate a bunch of keys. I changed, of course, we had our issues here, but I mean, I really wanted to change the keys no matter what, because I don't know how many keys are out there. And the other keys were, they didn't have do not duplicate, so anybody could have taken those keys and made copies of them. These ones are do not duplicates, so.
I mean, if we need to
But I
sign
guess
for
if you guys
it
need a
or.
key, just write me a page and a half paper and I'll. And we'll grade that and we'll get back to you, no. I don't know, I'll ask the mayor, I don't really care, because like I said, there do not duplicates, so.
Because
Just
last
have to
week,
sign
you
form and
mentioned
make
you
sure you
had
do.
keys for us.
Yeah,
meeting.
last meeting,
Oh, who did?
the mayor.
Oh, excuse me. He didn't tell me. Okay, well then we'll work on getting keys.
But I think, there are something, I've come down here, maybe want to check on something, and I get the hell thrown at me. You ain't allowed here.
Well, the thing is right now, and that's the other thing about the keys right now, I mean, we're in lockdown, but I mean, as soon as we open this building up, unless you guys gotta come after hours or something.
Yeah.
I know you do volunteer stuff once in a while, but,
Can
besides
you come
that.
down and check the mailbox, see if the minutes are in there, read them before a council meeting?
Check the ordinance books.
And what I don't want to do is what we did yesterday, is go knock on the fire department door so they could let us in the building for our economic development meeting.
They don't mind.
Yeah, but we went around to every door. I mean, it's like, back door, no, side door, no, front door, no.
Well, you can't do that now anyway.
What's that?
I mean, those doors wouldn't be open anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's-
No, but if I have a key, I can open it
Yeah,
myself.
well, I
I don't have to
understand
walk
that.
around the whole entire building.
Well, if
for
the
that.
mayor wants to do that, that's fine with me. I'm not gonna say no, that's for sure. Like I said, I just hate a lot of keys being out there for this building, that's all. But like I said, I feel a lot better when it's do not duplicate keys.
Yeah. And if we need to sign something, we'll sign something.
Yeah, well, you have to sign them out, yeah. Working on a schedule for the roads, actually having the estimates done probably by the end of this week. And we're gonna see how much money we want to spend. I don't wanna, take all this money and use it, because we have a loan out there for $500,000 for the last road, so we will be fiscally responsible for what we do, and I want to see what we can do. The county is acting like they may not do the chip and seal, which really breaks my heart, because I got a couple roads I really want to chip and seal. I want to try to chip and seal St. Clair all the way down the bottom of Morris Hill, because to fix that road, there's another road that's going to cost us a lot of money, because you have to get the pilings put in, because it's slipping over the hill again. But I want to try to chip and seal it to see if we can at least get a good year out of that chip and seal. And chip and seal is cheap, it really is.
Well, that's
Very
around the
big.
knob,
Huh?
around the knob.
Yeah, right around that corner, it's starting to slip again. And trust me, when you start to get into that, it's expensive.
County's not gonna do it at all?
I don't know. I talked to them and, I'm begging them to do it because I already got my roads checked out and everything else. So.
The contractor did it.
Yeah, we do a contractor, but, they're, like I said, the county does that dirt cheap. Dirt
No, I
cheap.
said, get the contractor did the repair, and slip it over again.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who did that. I don't even know how long ago that was. Oh, that contractor, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, anyhow, we do have an ordinance coming through and took it upon myself, and I made an error. I talked to Jack a little bit about it. It's going to have to be amended. We're going to lower the fee to $10, and we'll only do it for the 1 month, and then we'll revisit it to the next month after that if we want to throw another ordinance through to do it for 2 months. I would like to do it for 2 months, but like I said, we can put an ordinance in place right now for the 1 and then come back and do it, because it helps the folks. And as I was explaining before, we up their sewage $8. This will take care of 5 months of that increase, actually, if we do that for 2 months. So they're only going to pay for 7 months of that sewage increase. So,
One of the reasons that we talk about doing it for 2 months is, you have to pass an ordinance every time you do it.
yeah, so.
It's no big deal.
What?
That's no big deal, though.
Well, it gets you in a time frame when you only have the 1 meeting a month.
The time frame's not critical, as you see.
No, I understand
Enacting
that,
this first month.
I'm just saying that was the.
I just hate promising the residents, hey, we're gonna do 2, and then, they're gonna hold you to that. Even if we wanted to scale it back to 1, we'd never hear the end of it. If we can do 1, we always have the option to go to the second. If you promise 2 and you think you're gonna appeal it back to 1, I mean,
The only problem with it's going to be is
It'd be-
our billing period.
Yeah.
Okay, so we may miss the billing period for that month. In other words, we give it off this month, I have a council meeting, but my bills are already out, so we don't get it approved. So it looks, it's back to $30, then the next month is back down again. So that's the only issue that you'll have as far as you might miss a billing period, that's all.
Plus, you need a meeting to motion to bring forth an ordinance.
Yes.
To make that, and then the.
That's what I'm saying, where the
You have
meetings
to
are
go
at.
either way for that.
So that's the only reason we try to do it. We can modify it, I don't care, whatever it takes. Yes?
We have a problem with this, going 2 months up?
Well, the motions and discussions were for 1 month.
Yeah,
We didn't
it was.
discuss 2 months at all before council. It was always 1 month.
We said 1 month and we would revisit it, and so. Yeah, I got these estimates. I actually talked to the guy. We can possibly use some in-kind services. I don't know what our guys can do though. We can't really scrape that stuff off or anything like that, or mill and fill or whatever else. So we're trying to look for anything I can do that I can use my guys to build against this and save a little bit of money. But I will probably be getting hold of the contractor probably this week to try to get him down there and do this job. I got to actually look at renting out these shelter houses, but as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to open up shelter houses until they relax these restrictions. Or we just can't. So if somebody has it the first week of June or whatever else, I'm going to take a look at the schedule. If they have it, we're returning their money. That's it. We're not going to take those chances. Cutting grass. Jack, I still appreciate you cutting the grass up there. It looks very good. And Mr. Huggins back there, he just goes around and just cuts anywhere he can. I appreciate it, Jack. I'm not joking. I think that you do a very good job for us.
Mike Boca spent the whole day up there.
Even though Boca, I didn't know that.
He spent the whole day up there today cleaning the memorial up, but I guess we're gonna have it downtown, sit out there.
You're talking about Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Memorial Day is going to be nothing but shooting the guns, guys, that's it. We're not going to have anybody, once again, the 10 people, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just not going to mess with it.
Where are you having it, up at the park or downtown?
No, downtown.
Okay.
We'll have it downtown. We weren't even going to do anything. My buddy was out of blanks. I had to beg, borrow, and steal to get some blanks. And then to find somebody to play the taps, it's gone up to $125. I mean, I'll go there and play taps. But we're going to do everything. Huh? We're going to do everything like we did before. And that's all we're going to do is shoot the guns, and that's going to be it. There's not going to be any speed or anything like that. As far as I know, I don't know of anybody doing anything. I talked to Wintersville Legion, and they do something in the cemetery. when they're out in the cemetery, they might have somebody speak out there or whatever else. But that's it, so. This is just a screwy year, and that's all we can say. We're gonna replace all the flags. I got all the flags, the county reimburses us for that. We go replace all the flags on the graves. 3 cemeteries, really 4. We got a Confederate one out there. And then, so it's, we're still doing what we're supposed to do. There's an ordinance that has to come through. We just talked about the reduced payment on the water and the administrator to go out for paving. I just need your permission to go out and get bids for paving. Decision on the shelter houses, I guess that's basically me. We are not going to open our shelter houses until they relax the rules. Is that pretty much understood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The baseball will start on the fields. There are guidelines for that. I looked up what West Virginia has. I have not looked up what Ohio has at this point in time, but we will make sure that they abide by all those guidelines.
They have them all.
Yeah, so, folks, personally, I just,
No high fives.
yeah, I'm just hoping that this stuff kind of goes away a little bit here pretty soon. I don't know. I think it's a flu on steroids, and I think we need to live our lives a little bit. Just be careful, that's all.
Just to let you know about the baseball fields, they're gonna start 26th of this month practicing.
Okay.
They have all the guidelines from the governor. They asked us about if we had any. I'm not gonna override these.
Oh, no, whatever the governor comes out with is what they gotta abide by. We're not even gonna think about
I'm not
modifying
even.
it.
Their first game is like June the 6th or something like that, some weekend. But they
All I'm worried about is how many people are gonna show up, and they better be able to control that.
There's no food served, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Bring your own food, bring your own drink. I mean, they got it down to to a science.
As long as they, like I said, as long as they know how many people can, I could swear I read it in West Virginia, it was like 25 people can show up for these games or something like that. I'm not sure, but we'll find out the number, and they really have to abide by it because, that's the last thing we need is something to happen up there too.
Can you stay in your car?
From what I read,
You know what,
I mean,
I'll tell you right now, these guidelines are kind of odd because I know down there on the church down there, what is that? Circle K, they have everybody, they're packed in there. in their
Finley
cars.
Church.
No, they're packed in their cars, and I think that it was coming across the radio, but I think now he stands out and he's going it, and it probably still maybe go across the radio, I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, there's 100 cars in that parking lot, so as long as they get their masks on, they're sitting in their car. Hey, we're clean. So I think that's all I have, guys. Anything else? Let me answer your question about the Thrasher.
Jags.
Okay, because we got the money's there, they're just drawing it down.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
just see the revenue come in.
Yeah, well, it's sitting,
on that sheet.
it's sitting there, it's there,
But it's there.
it's there, yeah.
And the other question was about the database, but I know
That's
just as the fees.
they changed their name. Yeah, that's our rubbish, yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Our
the
farm.
disposal fees, et
Yeah.
cetera, which goes around
Yeah.
here, there.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Has anyone looked at the marina? I know with the holiday coming up, I know with certain restrictions, I don't know what the boating restrictions are, but I know last year we ran into some issues. The marina was a mess. As
We
far as like
actually,
the
I know
ramp and
Timmy's
everything.
cleaned it twice. I actually
Okay.
talked to Mr. Ray Hall about going down there
Okay.
and spraying it off. I know that Timmy cleaned it.
did it?
Yeah, he did clean it, shovel it and everything, but you might want to just take a look.
Yeah.
Because,
If it stopped raining, because every time
Yeah,
it rains, the water comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
I haven't been down there for a couple of weeks. I'm just hoping all that debris off that pipe. That was something else.
And that's still there, I was
Still
down
there?
there the other day.
Wow.
I took a ride down.
That pipe is awful strong.
Yeah.
I hate seeing it break loose.
There were some 12-year-olds down there who were fishing, and they caught a bunch of metal
We already took care of that,
cages. Yeah,
yeah.
Timmy got it that day.
So,
It was taken out.
well, at least they caught some.
Yeah, steeled
Yeah,
one.
cage fish. Okay.
Okay, is that it, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jag, you have anything?
No, everybody's got a copy of the budget.
Okay, everybody, we all got a copy. Yeah.
Jags, do we have projections about JSW as far as what is not going to be coming in?
No, we don't know anything about them. There's not a lot going on over there right now. In fact, there's layoffs left and right going on.
Right.
They had layoffs, but I think they're doing a hire back, huh? At least that's what I'm hearing. I'm trying to.
That's what I heard they were-
Resources.
They're calling them back, I think, 4 to 6 week.
Yeah.
and calling them back, supposedly.
Go ahead, George.
George?
Did you get a chance to call Rita to see what percent of revenue comes from them and things like that?
No, I will for you.
Okay.
On the
Ernie?
budget, is there
Sure, I'll
anything that we
notify you.
need to look at? Any red flags?
No, I think we'll do more at the next meeting, because then we'll be about halfway through, so we can look at projections, see what we're.
There are some red flags. I can see some red flags.
Higher wages.
The red is one of the colors of the flags. But, it's just,
Where
the
should we
numbers
be
are what they
at?
are.
What's that?
Where should we be at?
We're,
Where-
4 months in, a little over 4 months, a little over a third. So if you have anything below 65%,
Yeah,
then you got
65,
a concern.
67, yeah,
We're 5.5.
And there's some things down in the 50s,
5.5.
low 50s,
40s.
40s, even, yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
And we
Arnie,
really need
you
to look
have
at that. I mean, we
anything?
do this every year, where we wait till, it's almost too late, to take any corrective action or to get the train back on the tracks. I don't know. I mean, it's looking pretty bad, some of these numbers. I don't know what the answer is, but it's something we need to talk about, I think, sooner than later.
Okay, Ernie?
No, I don't have.
Nothing? Okay. Okay, Mr. Fire Chief, you up, buddy?
All right, thank you. The call volume we had in April, we had 88 calls, most of which were EMS calls. Only had one fire, it was a car fire up on a highway. A lot of service calls, lift assists and things like that. Nothing else major. Things have gotten crazy up in Steubenville. Well, where's it at? 14 times we were dispatched to go up there and we didn't go. They were at the point, 911, they were paging 4 or 5 departments at once to get somebody to go answer a call in Steubenville because nobody was doing it.
So that's why Steubenville Council is going to have their own, I saw that on the last council meeting, that they're going to have their fire trucks.
Supposedly they're starting it in the fire department, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. That's not something you do overnight.
Yeah.
They gotta-
Just
they
throw
gotta
together.
Do a lot. I don't see them doing it this year, personally. I mean, you got to go through a lot of steps to start an EMS agency. But supposedly that's what they're going to do. They're going to run an ambulance through the fire department. So we'll see how that works out. Good luck to them. On the COVID-19 issue, we haven't had any more patients that we've transported. I don't remember if I mentioned this last time, but word is there's going to be reimbursements from FEMA for anything that has to do with COVID-19. So what I was told was anything that you do that is remotely tied to COVID-19, if you have a conversation with somebody, you document the time.
Yes, you do.
Because when it comes time to get money, you need to document every single last thing that you did that had anything to do with COVID-19.
Yes.
Any training that anybody got, any supplies that you bought, a conversation that you had, anything that you did out of the ordinary because of the COVID-19, you put a dollar sign on it and you put in for reimbursement. So that probably won't happen till the end of this week or maybe next, or end of this year or maybe next year once things settle down. But that's the word, that we're going to get reimbursed. So
There may be new guidance that comes out on that down the road. So the same thing happened in healthcare, and as you see, there's a lot of fraudulent claims. Everyone's, it's everything they do, they just mark it as COVID, because they're going to get reimbursed or get funding, additional funding back for it. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting to see that, how that plays out.
oh yeah, there's always people
Scamming
trying
it.
to get a free handout.
That's it.
We did have one of our residents, and I'm not even sure where he works, but he had access to medical masks, and we bought a case of them off of him, $1,500 for 1,000 masks. But The fact is, they're hard to get. They're not the N95 masks, the king of the road. They're just the things you get, the nurses and all that stuff wear. So we bought them off of them. They were medically certified masks, so I bought a case of those. So we got 1,000 masks, so,
And you put a note in your
oh yeah,
COVID-19.
I'm gonna get reimbursed for that. But, what I want to say is, if anybody, I don't know what the policies are in the rest of the departments in the village. I don't see anybody wearing masks. But if anybody wants the employees, I now have some that I can hand out, give to people. I gave some to the ladies in the building and stuff if they wanted them, but
That's
if
nice.
we get to the point, like, you're talking about maybe up at the pool or whatever, of course, 1,000, I don't know how long that's gonna last. It's not a lot because we use them, we have to wear them on every call, plus we have to put one on our patient on every medical call. So we go through them pretty good, but the guy that sold them, he said he could get some more, so.
I have some masks I bought. Also, Homeland Security called me today, and I went and I had somebody go pick up. I don't know how many we received, but Homeland Security gave us some masks.
Okay.
I don't know how many, so, we do have some masks.
Okay, that's good. So if anybody else around needs them, we got some right now. Flags, you mentioned flags, Bob. The fire department does the flag thing for the cemeteries for Memorial Day. So we went out and bought those, but I also bought flags, and I hope you and I didn't buy the same thing, I don't know. But the bottom flags at the park, the flag poles at the park,
Yeah,
the bottom flags, but the Ohio and the prisoner of war,
Yeah.
they were both shredded, so I bought those.
I buy the ones for the graves.
Okay,
And we buy those too, but we can never have too many of them flags on.
okay, so I have 2 new ones for that, and I also bought up at the memorial, they have the little US flags on the wooden sticks that stuck in the ground, there's like a row of them. I bought a dozen of
That's
those.
okay, I have 3 gross of those. No, but I go through them all.
Okay.
Replacing the ones on the graves, we have that many people that,
And you guys, you'll check the marina? Isn't there's a flagpole down there, and how about Potter's? Has Potter's been changed anytime soon?
Yes, I went around, I forgot about the marina actually, but I went down the south end and Potter's, they're all looking good.
Okay.
The cemetery was just changed not too long, the city building, and the main US flag at the park was good, it was the bottom flags that were bad. So, but I did forget about the marina, I'll go check that.
I think we did the marina, but I'm not sure either.
Okay.
I
I'll
don't
check it
remember,
tomorrow.
it's been a while since
I'm
I've
just
been
down there.
there.
It was it was
Is it
shredded.
bad?
If it's torn, we'll get a new one.
Okay,
I
thank
actually
you.
think I got an extra 3x5 USA flag then. Okay, property maintenance, Kevin Ingram, he's already been out and he had 30 plus write-ups. He's working on getting them mailed out to people.
Can I ask you, there was one on Valley, I just got a call on that one on the corner there. Used to be the police chief, or was he the police chief?
Yeah.
Bell.
Val,
Just a police officer.
this police officer, there's
Oh,
somebody complaining
yeah.
about that one.
I just found out who owns that and it surprised the heck out of me.
Yeah.
But, okay, we're gonna
Oh,
take
that's
care
at
of it.
Di Bernardino.
Bernardino, yeah.
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 They were cutting the grass over there.
Really?
Well, the
Empty lot.
The fenced-in empty lot on Carlisle was cut. It looks good, but around the house
Yeah,
is,
that's terrible.
it's
Yeah.
tough, so, yeah. The list keeps getting longer.
So the 30 that he gave out, they'll have 14 days to comply or whatever?
Oh, I don't know what they are. I'm sure most of them are grass,
Okay,
but, it depends on what it is and how hard it is to fix it.
Okay.
7 to 14 days.
okay.
I think most grass ones are 7 days. On our new pickup truck, the red one that sits out front, which I'm gonna work on getting it inside back here because I don't like the thing sitting outside. For the very fact that I found last week when I washed it, or 2 weeks ago, that there was hail damage on it from that hailstorm that we had back in the end of March.
March 28th to be exact, I got my car looked at this week.
Yep. So $1,500 worth of damage to that brand new pickup truck. I guess they got some new way of doing it now where it's no paint, no body work, magic. They strip something, they take all the things off this and go.
Paint and repair.
Suction cups or something, but I don't know what they do, but there's no paint, no, don't mess with the paint.
How much did they charge for the water issue with it? Do you remember what that bill was?
$550 some dollars, $551. That was the other thing. I got in it one day and found it was running crappy. I couldn't even go up Logan Avenue. Took it up to team, and they found the gas tank was full of water. So,
Jim, where did you get that estimate from for to fix that mail dance?
team, but they outsource it. I don't remember the company. They have a contractor that comes in and does that.
There's a guy down here, down the run, Kuchar kid, behind
Yeah, down in
fireplace.
There's a guy out in
Maybe we ought to
Richmond.
check in with him.
They're out in Richmond that does it as well. They're working out of Spike Sterling's old shop. They do
That's
a
a
pretty
big
good
mine,
job.
did a good
Yeah,
job, I thought, really well.
they do real good.
I can check it around.
Bobby
I got an
Ross.
estimate, but I didn't schedule it to repair it.
What?
Is there a deductible like $500?
Oh,
What's that?
Is there a deductible?
Our deductible was
working in his garage.
$500.
He's
He's
his own
already got
business,
the
but he's
check.
working in
So-
the garage. He took a couple of the old team guys.
Just under $1,000 check from the insurance company.
Joe Kuchar.
So, you got the water in the fuel tank on the truck, had that repaired. That was $550. They had to empty the tank and change the plugs and clean that out.
Any idea how it happened?
Yeah,
How?
somebody opened the gas tank up and poured water
Or
in.
water, yeah.
That's just an idea. There's no way for water to get in the tank. We checked it out. You got the door on the outside. Fords don't have gas caps anymore, but they got a rubber flap.
Right.
It goes down and covers the hole. It's like a cork. It goes inside the hole and plus covers over the top. So, you know, it was suggested, well, we've had a lot of rainstorms. If people washing the truck with the hose, there's no way. I have a sample, the 16-ounce water bottle. I got it up in the office. They drained it. There's that much water and that much gas in the
What was the
bottle.
last one you used it?
I don't know, truthfully. Because guys on duty can use it, so we don't keep track of every use of it.
Okay.
The only thing I can check is the mileage, how many miles it had on it, because it got filled up. We know when it got filled up, and we know the mileage from the day they fixed it, so I can figure out the mileage. But as far as who drove on any single day, I don't know. But there's going to be a police report filed on that because it was not accidental. Team said it wasn't accidental, and anybody I've talked to, we check all the departments in the city of, you know, anybody else with gas vehicles having trouble, nobody else, because that was my first thing. I mean, we've had water in the gas before over the years, and that's the first thing I thought of, but, you know, even team told me, said that's too much water in that tank. So,
Are the cameras fixed yet?
no, it's on order.
Okay.
Kim ordered it already. So there's going to be a police report filed on that. And there were no security cameras to catch that. There were, I had mentioned a couple months ago about a couple of state fire marshal grants, one being for our fire gear, bunker gear, and the other for a gas meter. We just got the list came out today, and we didn't get either one of those grants. I know we got 1,000 issues going on in the present, but for the future, not that I agree with it, but they've put time limits on all the fire equipment. I personally think it's an overstretch, but they put time limits on bunker gear, breathing apparatus, trucks, everything now. That things are only good for a certain amount of time and they have to be reserviced or replaced.
Yeah.
The bunker gear is 10 years. We're in, I think, year 7 or 8 of the ones that John got by grant. So in a couple of years, all our bunker gear is going to be out of date.
He told me that in the SCBA's
Yeah,
within the
the
next 2
SCBA
to
was
3
like 2
years.
years later. I think the grant 2 years later. And I don't know whether those can be refurbed. But like I said, I don't necessarily agree with what they're doing with that, but It is what it is. So something you're gonna have to deal with in the future. Things, you're gonna have to replace something or fix something because the book says it no longer works.
Now, a figure that he threw out there for me was like $250,000 to $350,000 for new gear. I don't know if that
I don't
included the
remember. Honestly, don't
SCBA's.
remember. It's a lot of money for both of them, but I couldn't tell you what a figure is.
Okay.
As far as hiring the next fire chief, I've had discussions with the mayor. I wish he was here, but I understand he's working. I told him that I wasn't interested in taking the position, that he needs to hire somebody, and he agreed with that. And so we discussed what qualifications he wanted, and I came up with a plan that I wrote a job announcement to put in the newspaper and wherever else we put it, the online sources. It's a very short announcement. Basically, it says, we're hiring a fire chief. Go to the city's website to get all the information. And in doing so, I was hoping that it would save us in cost, especially for the newspaper. They charge by the word or the inch or whatever it is, word inch or whatever it is in a newspaper. So, it's going to be a very short notice. Then I wrote up an entire page of background, the village of Mingo, the fire department, the fire chief's job, benefits, stuff like that. Then we had on file the actual job description of all the positions that was in the administrator's office. I got that job description out. I had to make a couple of modifications because it was written in the late 90s and things have changed, but I wrote all that stuff up. I gave a copy of it to the mayor for his proofreading, and hopefully by the end of this week, if there's no major changes, we can start the process. I've already talked to Michael Maguschuk, so all that information can get put on the city's website. I guess there's Facebook pages to do with the city's website and stuff. It's going to be on there, and the announcement's going to be put in the paper, and I'm going to put it on the different websites that I can come up with. And one of the important things that I said to him was, we need to get the ball rolling because I want to retire. And, it's going to take a while to do the hiring. He wants to do board interviews. So that's going to take, I don't know how many people we're going to get to apply for the job or not. But, we've got to take time to schedule people in here for interviews, and unless you do everything in one day or something. But, you've got to do all this. And then if you do hire somebody, you got to do background check and physical drug screening, all that kind of stuff to make sure he qualified for it. And then you're going to have to hire him, swear him in, and then I'm going to have to teach him for at least a few weeks the job that I'm still learning to do. So, it's going to take a while to get a new fire chief. And I don't think there's anybody that's in the fire department now that's going to be in that list. So it's going to be somebody who doesn't really know what's going on down here. Yes.
Jim, I have paper here that I was going to, when we got the ordinance of safety and asked you to stay here, I was going to make a recommendation, and I don't know if Ernie could put it in for us, but I was going to recommend the next guy that comes in, and you probably have done this, firefighter 2 to be the chief, paramedic, and fire and safety inspector, which he could get at any time. And of course, I had passed this out before that the taxpayers are paying 2% income tax and a 4-year 4-meal ambulance levy. They deserve to have the paramedics on duty at all times if a citizen is in grave condition due to severe medical condition or severe traumatic injury. They deserve to have a paramedic attempt to save their life on scene not a basic EMT or EMT intermediate, who has to wait 20 to 30 minutes for a paramedic to respond. And you should know about that because they couldn't do anything and had to call you out. And I don't think we should have to do that. We've been known to have one of the best, and Jack, you can attest to this because you were part of it. You guys did one hell of a job, and we were really known to have the best fire department in the High Valley. And I think we've slipped quite a bit. Things that we said we were going to do to some guys that failed to get their stuff up to the thing. They were supposed to be gone. If they failed, we kept them on. You know, we got guys working up there that haven't passed what they should have been passed already, and we do nothing about it. And I think the people do deserve more. Now, Ernie, I don't know if we have to put that in
Well, I want to see what Jim has.
yeah, what he has, and then what I got here,
Okay.
put it in an ordinance so that we have
Well,
it.
it wouldn't have to be in an ordinance if it's
Well-
in the job description.
But I mean, what I like though, but
I can show you what I wrote, and I'll tell you, the mayor wanted the same what you just said. You had to be a firefighter, two had to be a paramedic, had to be a fire
Right.
safety inspector. I personally agree more with what you said about the fire inspector. That's like a 2 or 3 week course that somebody can go through. I would hate to disqualify somebody who is experienced, qualified, a firefighter and a paramedic just because he doesn't have his inspector's license. That's simple enough to get. But, you know, that's my personal opinion. The mayor said he wanted those 3 things. And that's what I wrote in the announcement, and that's what's in the job description. If, you don't want to change that, or, I mean, I don't know whose actual authority it is to decide those things, whether it's just strictly the mayor or whose it is, but it's written up, and I got a copy of it up in my office. I'll be happy to show anybody who wants to read that.
well, I'm just, it's,
Well, I agree with you 100%. They should be qualified and ready to step in and get somebody.
I mean, the last
with
couple
experience.
months, let's face it, they haven't been good. But I know you guys are doing the best you can, but I'd like to see us really get back to where we once were. I know that's hard to do, but when Jack was chief, he had all the certifications along with the 4 guys, Jake and all those, and you and Johnny, and, you guys all had it, all that kind of stuff. You were all great. It's really slacked off now, so.
Well, there's been
But I know you
lot
guys
of
are doing a good
turnover
job.
Yeah.
and a lot of change in the past 10 to 15 years, and
Yeah.
economic crisis, and and things have just changed. I will say, you mentioned about guys testing to get their qualifications. They did open up testing back up for the 2 guys that went to their intermediate class. One went today to test. I don't think you'll find out till at least tomorrow. So they are able to test. The 2 guys are on probation.
Right.
So I
Okay,
think both of them should have the opportunity to test at least once before their probation is up, so we can have a better
Right.
vision of what's going on with that.
I have a question. When is their probation over with?
One is June 28th, the other is July the 11th.
And they should be able to test before that time?
Yeah, one tested today, so the other one, as soon as he can schedule it, he can go test. So.
And if-
Actually, they have to wait 30 days between testing, so if they both do it right now, they'll even have a second chance before their probation's up.
And do they understand that if they do not pass this?
Oh, yes, I made it clear.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay. That sounds good.
yeah,
If
Jack.
they don't pass it, I told them they're going to get a letter to offer to extend their probation 6 months or whatever time period to give them another chance to do that. And they weren't happy with that, but I said, well, look at the alternative. We don't have to offer you that extra 6 months, we can just let you go.
Yeah.
So I think they've realized, after they thought about it, that they're better off to try and get their certification and probably accept a 6-month extension rather than lose their job.
Yeah. Okay, Jack had something. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, did you write that letter yet? About the extension for probation?
No, I haven't read it. I've been working on the.
I mean, just in case something happens, I want, I won't get.
I don't plan on dying, but
No,
like I said, now that they can test, the letter might be moved, so.
well, it could be not moved either.
Okay.
Another question for you. I was down here the other day, I called you. There's damage on a new squad. It was wrecked on one side. Who took, what happened on the other side?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, because the cameras don't work, nobody knows.
Well, it was on the right side, so no cameras would be
Yeah,
seeing it
I know.
now. And if it happened out on the road, who knows?
So we're gonna take that squad out of service to get it worked on, eventually.
I haven't decided that.
Well, I mean, that starts getting down to that paint, we're gonna start losing paint.
Well, I have to talk with the dealer to see what their recommendations are. It's minor body work, so
Okay.
if they're gonna recommend that the body work is done, the scratches, that it probably will have to go back to their dealership, and we'll have to run with the backup one.
And when you're talking about that, when Steve called me, he's the one who called me, Steve Strickland, he asked me to tell you, and I haven't seen you since, maybe a drop kit for that ambulance back there.
What?
It's called a drop kit. You take that chassis and motor out, throw it away, and you put a new chassis and motor underneath that squad back there.
So our new ambulance has been wrecked?
Yes.
3 times. Is there reports on that? Is there somebody?
Well, the one that I was chief, there is, and the person that did it got disciplined.
I didn't realize it's been wrecked even at all.
Well, they're minor,
Yeah.
but, it still functions, and,
Yeah, well, I understand that, but a brand new vehicle, it's.
I know, trust me.
And what's the other damage you're talking about, Jack?
It looks like somebody took a key to it or something. Who
Yeah,
knows?
so on the right side, there's a big old scratch that just arcs like this. It does look like it possibly could have been a key, or it could have been getting next to a tree or brush. I mean, sometimes we pull that ambulance into some pretty tight places, driveways and things like that. We hit hedges and stuff. I don't know what happened. As soon as I saw it, I started asking people, and everybody was see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
No evil, hear no evil.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But there is a big scratch, probably 8 to 10 feet long down the right side of the ambulance. The other one, the driver hit the guardrail of all things at Trinity West, trying to cut underneath the emergency room cover, because there were vehicles in there, cut the turn too sharp, got up against it, realized that wasn't going to make the turn, tried to back up, that made it worse, and tore up the left side, driver's side. But it's cosmetic, we got to put a latch on it. It'll be fixed. It'll be okay. But as far as
That's the
76 back there doing that,
Yeah.
yes, you can remount any box, but that box is a 2004 box unless they completely redo that box, and we get a price on that and put it on a new chassis. Yeah, that's definitely an option. It's not damaged. It's not. The cabinets and things are worn out and stuff like that, but as far as the actual aluminum framework and the body work on it, yeah, that thing's still intact.
This one's got the good motor in it, that's got the bad motor in it, right? That's .6 back there.
Yeah,
This one's-
that's the one that you replaced the engine.
Yeah, I didn't replace it.
Well, whoever.
Yeah,
I know you physically didn't do it, but,
No, I mean, that was done after I left.
okay, but, yeah. But I wouldn't,
Okay, I'm just asking now,
as far as remounting that box on a new chassis and having the box maybe redone to save money, that's a distinct possibility. I wouldn't want to deal with a 2000, any part of that squad that we're using as a backup squad. I wouldn't want to transfer that stuff to go forward.
Okay.
I don't think that's.
because I'm just looking at taxes, people might not be paying taxes here for a while. We might be,
Well, we're in the position right now where we got the new one because we had to have a new ambulance. That's why we took the loan out. But we're in the position now where we're going to wait till that levy's up, and we're going to see how much money we have.
okay.
I mean, we bought 2 of the vehicles that was supposed to come in with the levy money, the pickup truck and the first ambulance. So there's no hurry. also, you don't want to buy two brand new vehicles at the same time because then they're.
Both
you need to
going
replace
out
them
at
at
the
the
same
same
time.
time.
Obsolete at the
So
same time.
we're gonna wait till that levy's done and see how much money is in there because, I'm not sure that the money is gonna be there to buy a replica of the one we bought because, we had to pay for the loan. So some of that money is coming out of the levy to pay the loan that you guys took to buy that one. So I'm not here, and plus, with the, like you said, people paying their taxes, that might be down. We don't know what the revenue is gonna be in 4 years or whatever it was for that levy. So I have no idea what money we're gonna have and what we're gonna be able to do. But remounting that one back there or doing something with there, that, there's a possibility that would be a large savings if we could use that box.
I just asked a question, because,
Okay.
That's a good idea that I didn't think of.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
All right.
Fantastic report. Okay, good. All right, let's move on to, George?
Ordinances?
Yeah.
All right, we have two ordinance reports tonight from the council. First of which is ordinance 2020-8, an ordinance to provide a temporary credit for the debt service fee portion of the village water rates and declaring an emergency.
Anybody?
Oh, I thought you were going to do it.
Jody?
I move that a rule requiring an ordinance or resolution to be read by title only on 3 separate occasions be dispensed with. An ordinance or resolution number 2020-9, 2020-8 be given its second and third reading at this time by title only and placed before this council for its final passage or rejection.
Okay.
Question. This one says 2 on here. We're going to change that?
If someone wants to move to modify, we can modify it back to 1 as originally prescribed and motioned and discussed to do. Or if you guys just want to do 2, it's in there as 2 with the current reading of the ordinance.
Okay, roll call?
There was no second yet.
Second yet?
I'll second our motion.
Oh, you got a question. Okay, go ahead.
I'll second our motion. I'll second our
Second
motion.
motion. Okay, Jack?
Herrick,
Yes?
Irvin,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Healer,
Sure.
Cramblett,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Ordinance 2020-8, in ordinance to provide a temporary credit for the debt service fee portion of the village water rates and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 2020-8, in ordinance to provide a temporary credit for the debt service fee portion of the village water rates and declaring an emergency.
I'll make a motion that
Jack, second.
2020-8 be adopted this time.
Second.
Roll call?
Irvin,
I am conflicted with this because of all the talk with 1, and this 2 came out of nowhere upon this. I don't know if it was part of other discussions, other members here and presented. And I have to cap whether that's best fitting or not, as the guy who likes to raise water rates. So I question whether I can make a major point and say no, because we can discuss 2, or if I should just say yes and be agreeable and just make it 2 months. I know the revenue side is looking decent and sufficient, so therefore I will vote yes.
Yes.
Bertel, Healer,
I have to, because to be fiscally responsible, we didn't even mention anything about 2 months.
I understand, I thought you guys were going to amend it.
Well, I'm with George. We said 1 month, and we could get ourselves into a pickle here down the road, but, I'll go along with it. We'll deal with it if we have
What
to.
to do is vote no, that's all, we won't do it.
With that,
I said, if you don't vote no, we'll do it.
I'm fine with doing it, but
I'm fine.
I always thought with 1 option to extend up to a second, but we get 2 off the bat,
Yes.
and we're committed.
Okay. ordinance 28-8 has been adopted, okay. Second one, Jody?
Ordinance 2020-9, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to advertise for bids for paving various streets in the village.
Are we just giving this one run reading? Because it doesn't say it and declare an emergency.
It doesn't have to say and declare an emergency, you can still suspend the rules and pass it.
Okay, are we doing that?
You should,
Well,
you should, because he wants to get out
I'm
and
gonna be
bid.
going out for bid here
Okay.
probably within 2 weeks, I'm hoping.
I move that a rule requiring an ordinance for resolution to be read by title only on 3 separate occasions be dispensed with, and the ordinance or resolution number 2020-9 be given its second and third reading at this time by title only and placed before this council for its final passage or rejection.
Second.
Jack seconded. Roll call.
Raquel?
Yes.
Peeler?
Yes.
Crumpet?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Urban?
Yes. Ordinance 2020-9, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to advertise for bids for paving various streets in the village. Ordinance 2020-9, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to advertise for bids for paving various streets in the village.
I move that 2020-9 be adopted this time.
Second.
Jody seconded. Jack? Okay.
Peeler?
Yes.
Campbell? Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes?
Urban?
Yes.
Yes.
Raquel?
Okay, all right, move on now to, anybody else have anything for your committees? I have nothing for safety. Jody Lynch, service, anything? No, okay. Water and sewer, Jack, you have anything?
No, I don't, not about that.
Okay. And how about cemetery and that, nothing?
Yeah, I do
Oh,
have
okay.
some on them too. So we're gonna close the shelter houses down, right? So we decided.
Until further notice, I would say yes.
Okay. We have to return that money then. We got
Yeah, I will, I'm gonna look to see what,
I think we got people booked June the 1st.
yeah.
I took it upon myself, I put a porta john at the playground. The simple reason is kids are going behind the building and doing everything, urinating, dumping, whatever you want to call it, behind that green building back there. So I called Timmy and I had him bring a porta john down there. And they clean it once a week. I'm not going there and clean it anymore.
No.
Yeah, we won't move the other ones over until, unless we open
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
back up. That way they're up there too, so they can't be vandalized.
And again, you know, if somebody wants to come up and help, maybe clean leaves or whatever you want to do, there's bags up there, there's rakes up there. I know Jagger's been up there helping, but, you know, we don't have anybody up there working.
We had one application come in for some
Yeah.
overall, and nothing. Of course, we really aren't advertising very heavy either, so. But,
So officially, our parks are closed, as far as like the playgrounds
As far
and
as
stuff,
we're concerned.
still up through
Playground.
the end of May?
It's been full every day. And I'm not gonna chase them kids off there.
Playgrounds, basketball courts.
I see them playing every
like
day.
I said,
I'm not getting in that jackpot thing, you know.
Yeah.
I get up jackpots hauling them, get them off the building. Who are you? I said, I'll
There
tell
was
you
a
who I
kid sitting there
am.
the other day, I drove by, he was sitting on there, gonna chase him.
told you I wanted to put barbed wire on it, you guys wouldn't let me.
They're on the other building
Broken
too.
glass.
One ain't on top of the shit house, jumping on it. But the cameras are on.
Okay, you did talk.
I did talk to somebody. The one up the shelf, up at the stage
Yeah,
is not working. I've got no idea why, but I'm calling her back and telling her. But the one on the playground is working now.
okay.
And the one over in the small shelter house, the lower one, is
Yes.
not working. I don't think it's even hooked up. The one above is working on the shelter house. The small shelter house, there's one that shines back into the shelter house. But the one down lower looks in the shelter house, it's not working.
We have good coverage if they'd all work.
Huh?
We have good coverage if they'd all work.
Well, yeah.
Think about putting any signs up, that, you know, this place is video monitored and that kind of stuff.
I guess I could put some signs up as I look at it and laugh, yeah, we can do that. I think actually we do got a sign up on the main shelter house.
It's on the shelter house.
Yeah, there's a good sign up there.
Those two kids was up there, I don't know if they ever did anything to them.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you that question.
Oh,
We had some kids vandalize the place up there, we found out who they were, and I know the police chief knows who they were. I don't know if anything's, no, I just told them we want, to come down and do community service, that's all.
This is this year or last
Yeah,
year that we're
this
talking
year.
about? This year,
This year,
again?
I caught him, and
Good.
I went back on the camera and got him, but I called the police up there, I'd come up, and he got their hands in that. But they took the garbage can and just threw it down over the hill against the swimming pool. All the garbage cans. I took a couple back, I ain't taking no more back.
Okay, is that all, Jack?
That's all I have, Mike.
Okay, rest of the committees, anybody got anything? I knew George, you got beat. Jagger's got something.
I just got one little thing. I signed all these checks and everything, and Sophie hasn't been down in the office for, I don't know how long. And, I don't know if we need to address this situation, because now we have to get Spud to sign all the checks, so we're paying somebody that's not even coming to work. I mean, I know it's like a situation with her age, and as long as she's been around, all she does, but, is there an end game to that, or
Elected officials.
something that we need to look
I don't know
at?
if they can do anything with an elected official like that, besides a recall or something like that, it's.
I thought we could combine the position to.
Yeah, but I don't know if we do it. She's-
So we have to wait
I'd have to
until.
look, but I don't
Their
think
election
we
of
can do that
duties.
until the next election.
Yeah, she's already in that role. I don't know, there's recalls for people.
About their election of duties.
I just talked to her the other day, and she said she was feeling pretty good, and she did stop down, I thought she said Friday for a little bit, but not
Yeah, I saw her
not to
in the
do
truck or
any
something the
work.
other day, I saw
She's
her.
doing the
Yeah,
champ.
and,
She's not the champ.
But I don't think she'll be able to come back, to be honest with you.
She wouldn't want to with all this craziness going on.
Yeah, ooh,
That's
especially in her
true.
condition.
Something.
What's your timeline?
Okay, George, what do you want?
I don't know when.
Can I add something to that,
Yeah.
though? When you talk about combining the positions, there's two options to combine the position. You can combine the position and make an elected office, or you can combine the position and make it an appointed office. And so that's something you guys can think about.
Okay. All right, George, go ahead.
Economic Development Committee met last night to discuss various things. It was a longer meeting than usual for us, but a lot of things to discuss. I had mentioned at last council meeting there was a nationwide little webinar I got on. I gave members of the committee, as well as I think Bob and Mayor a link on through an email as far as you guys want to watch the recording and things like the slides and stuff like that. It was a introductory type 1 about brownfield development, ways in which you can attack issues of areas of blight throughout the communities, and provided some decent material. It was very elementary level, this one was, but I figured it's good, for the new ones on committees and stuff like that, it was a good one to kind of start out with. But brought to mind some discussions. I'm not going to go through all the discussions with you at this point in time. If you want the minutes from that committee, you can get with me. I can give you a copy if you so desire. Yet, of course, we all recognize the needs in our village. We got some various locations. Downtown Commercial Street being the obvious one, with various major issues of blight, commercial buildings falling in upon themselves, etc. We have, of course, the old high school building sitting there, gradually getting more and more dilapidated as the days go by. We have some opportunities off of the Commercial Street exit, Weezex property. We also have opportunities up near the school and the Dollar General place, but we have the apartment building that also is blight and has some needs. So we don't really have just one general location area that has needs. Granted, commercial, downtown commercial district is a big one, but it's not the only one. And there's many major things lacking for us as a community as far as attacking these kind of things. There is a lot of great money available right now, but the money's not available for, hey, we got a building, we want to tear it down. That doesn't exist. That money isn't really out there. Well, tear down for what? For what reason? For what purpose? What's your vision? So I think the first step for us in this grand scheme of process would be to attack and go after the EDA has a nice new grant program. They have about 1.5 billion of CARES money just appropriated to them, as well as other type of things. that can be used through the Economic Adjustment Assistance, the EAA, for development of a comprehensive economic development strategy. And they're especially targeting opportunity zones, of which the census tract comprising almost the entirety of the village is one. And as far as our county, it's us, the little part of the southwest Newmanville, and a little bit down in YTR. So I think it would behoove us to, as far as the committee, as well as Bob, as well as the mayor, to get together for a meeting to get ourselves lined up to see how we want to be trying to go after this type of thing, get ourselves lined up and join together under a vision of how to attack this kind of thing, and then get a hold of Mike Rocky and also Omega would probably be the one we go through to get the best as far as application to go into something like that. So I will group text Bob, committee, and the mayor to see when we can kind of meet and sit down together. Just it won't be that long of a meeting, because I don't think any one of us is against this type of idea. I mean, I don't know why it would be against this type of idea. It's probably something we're all in favor of. But I think that's our first step, getting a vision. Because Bob, like you mentioned, with the roads, the idea, the great starting point was getting an allocation, so you say, okay, what roads are the worst, which makes them bad, get a vision for how to attack, then it makes money easier to get and to go after. The same thing's true for brownfield redevelopment. You have to have a vision, you have to have a plan, of which our village just doesn't have one. And I think that would be the first route to go to. That's what we discussed a little bit last night, as well as something else that came up and crossed our mind a little bit as far as the old high school, but we can talk more about that at our next meeting also. Of course, you have a very personal connection there, which obviously you should, and that's why I think maybe with the coronavirus big, we'll say, omnibus bills coming out there, now is the time really to attack all the money available. It's not about being opportunistic for us as a village, but it's out there saying what money is there that we can get help and assistance in our village to make it better and to help create a more prosperous future. And I think it's time for us to really see what's out there, what we're looking for, and how can we craft our future in the village to incorporate those things so we can be more attractive to get that kind of money. With that, I return the floor.
Okay, thank you, George.
I have a question for you guys.
Go ahead, Jack.
Is that area downtown here, is it zoned for storage bins? You know what I'm talking about, storage bins?
Storage bins, how?
I don't know, like storage bins,
Yeah,
like you
like
see
you
down
store
George's Run.
Like you store it kind of deals, like down where I live?
Yeah.
I have to look at the
I have
zoning.
to, yeah, zoning would be a question. I'm not
Well,
sure.
anyhow, the guy that owned the pharmacy called me about it, and I said, I'll bring it up to council and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I have to check the zoning, I'm not sure.
I mean, he wants to put storage bins in, I don't know
Where's he want to put them at?
where he owns. Over here.
Yeah, that eyesore over there.
Like I said, I'll bring it up to council and I'll let council go, you know, where you guys want to go, I don't care. Because I told him I don't know what it was zoned for, or even if we need to go for it. Put storage bins downtown, I don't know.
You can put a lot in there if you're gonna have any access by a car, get in there and get to it.
I mean, I'm thinking like maybe 2
Yeah,
rows, or
yeah.
it would be
2 rows.
very
2 rows
small.
would be tough.
Yeah.
No.
Coach, I have one more thing before we leave.
Go ahead.
These meetings we had for July and August, so we're going to go on the third week of July and August?
That's what's currently scheduled as.
Okay, I penciled in here, so
16th at what, 6:30, right? Made a motion.
21st in July and the 18th in August, right?
We got June regular
Oh, June
meetings on
was the
16th.
16th,
Right.
okay.
Okay, so you do have 21 July and 18 August?
Yes, that's what they're, that's what.
be there.
When was July, Jack?
July's the 21st,
Okay,
August the 18th.
August the 18th. okay.
Right. Both all 6:30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6:30?
Well, check what we motioned for those. I don't know if we made
You
any.
made a motion for 7 o'clock. We already, we.
You did pass an ordinance.
Yeah.
That's the time.
Yeah.
You wanna just
I know
let the
what
time-
you're
I don't
talking about.
remember, I don't remember exactly.
I know-
if it set the time. If it set the time, it was 7, but I don't know if we
Probably
actually
so.
set.
I know June, I specifically made the motion for
I know.
6:30.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
6:30, yeah.
That was August the 18th?
yeah,
Well,
30.
can we just find out and then do it, you know, for the
You
time?
probably put that in the paper, right? You just put that in the paper and, you know, modify the time if you wanted to. Right? Didn't you?
Well, if you're going to modify the time,
Modify the
you
ordinance.
should amend the ordinance.
I like to, the sooner the better for me, folks. I like to.
I-
Make a noon then.
Let's make it 9 o'clock in the morning, right?
I know.
What's your-
I don't know. We going executive session for this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is everything else done? I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss
second.
personnel.
Roll call.
Cramblett, Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Urban. Yes. Chow, Field.
Yes.